Unit Test 3 Revision Video. Portions of Unit Test 3. Before going to do the problems, let's recall the basics. Addition of integers. When we add two integers of the same sign, the sum will also be an integer of the same sign. When we add two integers of different sign, the sum will be the difference between the two integers and have the sign of the integer with greater value. Multiplication of integers. Same signs positive, different signs negative. The product of two different integers is always a negative integer. The product of two same integers is always a positive integer. Before going to do the problems, let's recall once again few terminologies which we will have to encounter frequently. For example, 5 plus 7 can be called as a numerical expression or an arithmetical expression. In this numerical expression, say an alphabet if x is present, for example 5x plus 7, it becomes an algebraic expression wherein the alphabet x is called as the variable, while the numerical value in front of the variable x is called as a coefficient of the variable x. However, the numerical value 7 is called a constant, which is a fixed value. Here, 5x and 7 are said to be the terms of an expression, and also 5x, 7 are said to be the factors of the term. 5x plus 7 equal to 8 is called an algebraic equation. The equality sign shows that the value of an expression to the left of the equal to sign is equal to the value of the expression to the right of the equal to sign. Friends, now let's recall the words commonly used to represent the operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, equal to sign, and etc. The skill of translating a verbal statement to an algebraic equation requires an understanding the words that are commonly used to represent mathematical operations. Add, sum, plus, total, and together, additional, added to, combined with, more than, increased by, or the words commonly used to represent the operation of addition. Similarly, there are many other words to represent the operations like subtraction, multiplication, division, equal to sign, etc. And students, listen carefully. Is, or, where, was, will be, yields, sold for, gives, or the words represents the equal to sign. We are using transposition method to solve an equation. Transposition method, an algebraic method of isolating the variable by reversing the mathematical operations as the numbers are transferred to the other side of the equation. Change in sign. The plus sign changes to minus sign. Minus changes to plus. Multiplication changes to division, and division changes to multiplication. Steps to follow. Step 1. Simplify and remove the grouping symbols such as brackets. Step 2. Transfer all the variable terms to left hand side and all the constants to right hand side. Note, signs of the terms change when moved from one side to other. Step 3. Simplify the equation to get one term on each side. Or subtracting algebraic terms. Adding algebraic expressions. Subtracting algebraic expressions. Problems involving more than two variables. Important note, variable with no number have a coefficient of 1. Simple linear equations and solve them. Construction of linear equations. Students, consider an expression 7x plus 3, where x is the variable. When x is equal to 2, we know that the value of the expression is 7 into 2 plus 3. That is, we have to replace the variable x. The variable x by the given numerical value to obtain an arithmetical expression. Now, let us simplify the arithmetical expression by BIDMAS method. That is, first priority is given to the bracket, the operation within the bracket done first. Here, let us multiply 7 into 2, which is 14. Now, add 14 and 3. We get 17, which is the required value of the expression. Try to construct algebraic equations for the following verbal statements. 1/3 of a number plus 6 is 10, which is the given verbal statement. 1/3 means 1 by 3. 1/3 of a number, it means 1 by 3 x. Of, the word of represents the multiplication sign between 1 by 3 and the number and the variable x, plus 6. That is, we have to add 1 by 3x with 6. We know that is represents the equal to sign in the equation, and the algebraic expression is equal to 10. Now, we get 1 by 3x plus 6 is equal to 10, which is the required algebraic equation. The sum of 5 times of x and 3 is 28, which is the given verbal statement. Here, 5 times of x means 5 into x. The sum of, the word sum represents the addition symbol between 5x and 3 in the equation, and is represents the equal to sign, and the RHS is nothing but 28. Therefore, 5x plus 3 is equal to 28, which is the required algebraic equation. Let us see solving an equation. Students, an equation is like a weighing balance with equal weights on both of its spans, in which case the arm of the balance are exactly horizontal. If we add the same weights to both the pans, the arms remains horizontal. In the same way, if we remove the same weights from both the pans, then also the arm remains horizontal. We use the same principle for solving an equation. We use the following principles to separate the variables and constants, thereby solving an equation. Example 3.14. A school bus starts with full strength of 60 students. It drops some students at the first bus stop. We don't know what is the number of students got down in the first bus stop. Let it be x. At the second bus stop, twice the number of students get down from the bus. Twice, it means 2 times. 6 students get down at the third bus stop, and the number of students remaining in the bus is only 3. How many students got down at the first? Since we don't know the number of students who get down at the first stop, let us take the number as x. The number of students get down at the second bus stop is 2x. The number of students get down from the third bus stop is 6, and the number of students remaining in the bus is only 3. Students, now we are going to equate all these number of students who got down at each bus stops to the total number of students in the bus. So here x, the number of students who get down at the first stop, and 2x, the number of students get down at the second bus stop, plus 6, the number of students get down from the third bus stop, and here 3 is the number of students remaining in the bus is only 3. So we are equating all these values to 60, the total number of students in the bus. So in the next line we have to separate like terms and constants alone. So here x plus 2x plus 6 plus 3 is equal to 60. Now adding the coefficients alone, we get 1 plus 2x plus 6 plus 3 is 9 is equal to 60. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3x plus 9 is equal to 60 is the required algebraic equation. Now again by using the transposition method we have to solve for x. Now by using transposition method, what is the transposition method? Isolating the variable by reversing the mathematical operation as the number or transfer to the other side of the equal to sign. So here plus 9 becomes minus 9, and here 3 into x, here 3 becomes 1 by 3 in the other side of the equal to sign. So 3x plus 9 equal to 60 becomes 3x. When plus 9 crosses the equal to sign, it becomes minus 9. So 60 minus 9 is 51. So 3x is equal to 51. Thus we get. Again we are using transposition method. This 3, when it crosses the equal to sign, it goes to the denominator. So 51 divided by 3 we get. So when we cancel 51 and 3, it is 17 times. So in the denominator it is 1 time. So x is equal to 17 is the answer. Thus the number of students got down in the first bus stop is 17. Now let us see exercise 3.4 miscellaneous practice problem. Minus 3ab minus 8 from 3ab plus 8. Also subtract 3ab plus 8 from minus 3ab minus 8. Students, the first problem is subtract minus 3ab minus 8 from 3ab plus 8. Also subtract 3ab plus 8 from minus 3ab minus 8. So in this problem we are doing two subtractions by using the given algebraic expressions. So it is very simple. First subtract minus 3ab minus 8 from 3ab plus 8. That is here 3ab plus 8 minus of minus 3ab minus 8. So in the next step, by using the multiplication of integer rules, that is the product of two negative integers is always a positive integer. That is product of two negative signs results in a positive sign. So 3ab plus 8 and minus into minus plus 3ab and minus into minus plus 8. So in the next step we have to arrange like terms separately in an algebraic expression. So 3ab and 3ab are like terms and 8 and 8 are like terms. So 3ab plus 3ab plus 8 plus 8, thus we get. In the next step we have to add the coefficients alone. So here the coefficient is 3 and here the coefficient is plus 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6ab plus 8 plus 8 is 16. Thus we get 6ab plus 16. Vice versa, subtract 3ab plus 8 from minus 3ab minus 8. So that is we can write it as minus 3ab minus 8 minus of 3ab plus 8. Which is the first term and this is the second term. Now in the next step, by using the multiplication of integer rules, that is product of two different signs is always results in a negative sign. So a product of two different integers is always a negative integer. So by using that multiplication of integer rule, we get minus 3ab minus 8. Here minus into plus minus 3ab, minus into plus minus 8. And here in the next step what we'll do? Yes, we have to arrange the like terms separately in the algebraic expression. So minus 3ab, minus 8 and minus 8 are the constant terms. So here minus 3ab and minus 3ab. From this we have to add the coefficients alone. So minus 3, ab minus 16. Now by adding two negative integers results always a negative sign. So minus 3 gives minus 6 ab, minus 8 gives minus 16. Students, here we using the addition of integer rule. That is, when we add two integers of the same sign, the sum will also be an integer of the same sign. That is, here minus 3 gives minus 6. Here minus 8 gives minus 16. Thus, we get minus 6ab minus 16, which is the required algebraic expression. Second problem, find the perimeter of a triangle whose sides are x plus 3y, 2x plus y and x minus y. Second problem, find the perimeter of a triangle whose sides are x plus 3y, 2x plus y, x minus y. We know that how to find perimeter of a triangle when the sides of the triangle given in numbers. Here the same steps have to follow. Instead of numbers, here algebraic expressions are given. So let us find the perimeter of a triangle. Students, we know that the perimeter of a triangle, which is the sum of the lengths of the three sides. So we have to add all the given sides. So given the sides of a triangle are, that is the expressions, algebraic expressions are x plus 3y, 2x plus y and the last side which is given in the algebraic expression form, that is x minus y. Here the perimeter of the triangle is the sum of the lengths of the three sides, that is x plus 3y plus sum, it means we have to add 2x plus y plus x minus y, the last expression. So in the next step we have to arrange the like terms separately in the algebraic expression. So x, here x, 2x and x are like terms and 3y, y and minus y are like terms in y. So x plus 2x plus x plus 3y plus y minus y. And in the next step we have to add all the coefficients of x alone, and here adding all the coefficients of y alone. So in the first term we get 1, the coefficient of x is 1, and here the coefficient of 2x is 2, and here the numerical coefficient of x is 1, and here 3y, the coefficient of y is 3, and here y it is 1, and here minus 1. Minus y, in this term the coefficient, numerical coefficient of minus y is minus 1, and 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4x, and here 1 plus 1 and minus 1 cancels, and here the remaining is 3y. So 4x plus 3y is the perimeter of the triangle for the given three lengths in the algebraic expression. Third problem, thrice a number when increased by 5 gives 44. Find a number. Thrice a number when increased by 5 gives 44, which is a verbal statement. So now, first construct an algebraic equation for the given verbal statement. So, thrice, it means 3 times. So, a number, let A be the unknown number which we have to find. And 3 times, it means 3 into A. 3 times. Thrice, it means 3A. A number, here A is a number. 3A, it means thrice a number. When increased by 5. So increase, the word increased represents plus sign. and by 5. So here thrice a number when increased by 5. And the word gives represents the equality sign, and which is equal to 44. Finally, we get 3a plus 5 equal to 44, which is the required algebraic equation for the given verbal statement. So, students, the given verbal statement converted as an algebraic equation as 3a plus 5 equal to 44. Now, by using transposition method, we have to solve this algebraic equation. So, what is the transposition method? An algebraic method of isolating the variable by reversing the mathematical operation as the numbers are transferred to the other side of the equation. That is, here plus 5, when it crosses equal to sign, it becomes minus 5. And 3 into 3, this one, when it crosses the equal to sign, it comes to the denominator, otherwise it becomes 1 by 3. So 3 becomes 1 by 3 and 5 becomes minus 5. So let's do the problem. So 3a, this 5 plus 5, when it crosses the equal to sign, it becomes minus 5. So 44 minus 5. And in the next step, 3a is equal to 44 minus 5 is 39. And here 3, when it crosses the equal to sign, it becomes 1 by 3. That is 39 by 3. So now cancelling 39 and 3 by using third table, which is 13. And here it is 1. So a is equal to 13. Thus the number is 13. Ninth problem. Give an algebraic equation for the following statement. The difference between the area and perimeter of a rectangle is 20. Now, students, let us construct an algebraic equation for the given verbal statement. The difference between the area and the perimeter of a rectangle is 20. So now, we know that the area and perimeter of a rectangle. So what is the area of the rectangle? Which is L into B square units, where L is the length of a rectangle and B is the breadth of the rectangle. And what is the perimeter of a rectangle? It is 2 into L plus B units. Now, the difference between these two, the area and perimeter of a rectangle is, so the difference which represents minus sign. And here the word is represents the equality sign. And here the difference between the area and perimeter of a rectangle is equal to 20. Thus, we get an algebraic equation is LB minus 2 into L plus B is equal to 20. Now let us see Unit 4, Direct and Inverse Proportions. A ratio is a comparison of two values expressed as a quotient. Example, a class has 12 girls and 18 boys. The ratio of girls to boys is 12 by 18. This ratio can also be expressed as an equivalent fraction 2 by 3. Proportion. A proportion is an equation with the ratio on each side. It is a statement that two ratios are equal. When two ratios are equal, then such type of equality of ratios is called proportion, and their terms are said to be in proportion. Two quantities x and y are said to be in direct proportion if they increase or decrease together in such a manner that the ratio of their corresponding values remain constant. That is, if x by y is equal to k, then x and y are said to vary directly, where K is a constant of variation. And the condition of x and y in direct proportion is x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. Unitary method. We first find the value of one quantity from the value of the given quantity. Then we use this value to find the value of the required quantity. Steps involved in unitary method. Express the given problem in mathematical statement. Find the value of one unit of the given item using division. Find the value of the required number of same items using multiplication. Inverse proportion occurs when one value increases and the other decreases. For example, more workers on a job would reduce the time to complete the task. They are inversely proportional. The statement B is inversely proportional to M is written as B proportional to 1M. The situations or in direct proportions are number of bags of any item and its cost. Second one, monthly average expenditure and family members. Number of sheets and their weights. Size of a microchip in a design and its actual size. Height of a pole and its shadow. Cost of a cloth of a particular quality and its cost. Let us see some more examples for direct proportion. Here, when the radius of circle increases, the area of the circle also increases. When the radius decreases, the area of the circle also decreases. When the speed of vehicle increases, the distance covered by the vehicle also increases. When speed decreases, the distance covered by the vehicle also decreases. Now let us consider some situations. A family of 4 members consumes 2 liters of milk daily, and a family of 6 members consumes 3 liters of milk daily. So here we see that when the number of family members increased, consumption of milk increased too. Let us consider a different situation. Sunil goes to the stationery shop to buy 2 pencils. 2 pencils cost rupees 4. Next week, Sunil goes to the stationery shop to buy 6 pencils. The 6 pencils cost him rupees 12. In the first situation, when the number of family members increase, the consumption of milk increases. In the second situation, number of pencils bought or increases, then the total cost of pencils increases. These are the different situations which we have come across in our day-to-day life. We saw in all the above situations that the changes in one quantity results in the changes in other quantity also. So we can say that if the values of 2 quantities are related in such a way that changes in one results in a corresponding change in the other, the 2 quantities are said to be in a variation. So if 2 quantities increases or decreases simultaneously, then this category of proportion falls under direct proportion. If C is equal to K into D, what is the relation between C and D? Second one, find K when C is equal to 30 and D is equal to 6. The last question is, find C when D is equal to 10. Given C is equal to K into D. So the first question is, what is the relation between C and D? So C and D. So let's find out. So it can be written as C divided by D is equal to K. What it represents? Yes, this is in the form x by y is equal to k. So which represents the direct proportion. As C increases, D also increases. So it is direct proportion. So the relation between C and D is, it is in direct proportion. Students, now we know that K is equal to C by D. So from this, K is equal to C by D. And here K is equal to, the value of C is 30. And here D is, it is given that 6. So now when we cancel 6 and 30, here it is 1 time, here it is 5 times. So the value of K is 5. Students, the last question is, find C when D is equal to 10. So it is given that when D is equal to 6, the value of C is 30. And when D is equal to 10, what is the value of C? So let it be C2. And we know that it is the relation between C and D is, it is in direct proportion. So we know that the condition is C1 by D1 is equal to C2 by D2. And substituting all the values to get the unknown. So when D is equal to 10, what is the value of C? To find this value, so let us substitute all these values in this condition. So C1 is 30 divided by D1 is 6 is equal to C2 is, which is unknown, we have to find, and here D2 is 10. So now here when 10 goes to the other side, it becomes into 10, that is multiplication with 30. So 30 into 10 divided by 6 is equal to C2. And here when cancelling 30 and 6 by 6 table, it is here, it is 1 time, and here in the numerator it is 5 times. So C2 is equal to 50, which is the required value when D is equal to 10, C is equal to 50. Third problem. Every 3 months, Tamil Selvan deposits rupees 5,000 as savings in his bank account. In how many years he can save rupees 1,50,000? Here, students, Tamil Selvan deposits 5,000 every 3 months. So the question given to us is, how many months will it take for Tamil Selvan to have a bank balance of 1,50,000? So students, here the number of months is definitely will increase along with the amount deposited. Hence this sum falls under direct proportion category. Now form a tabular column, and here number of months and deposit per month are the two quantities which are to be compared, and let it be X and Y. And here for 3 months deposit per month will be 5,000 and 1,50,000 deposit per month. So here the number of months which is unknown, say A. Let the number of months required be A. As the deposit increases, number of months also increases. Therefore, they are in direct proportion. Students, in the case of direct proportion, we know that the condition is x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. And here x1 is equal to 3 months and x2 is equal to A. Here, which is the unknown value, here we have to find the value of A. And y1 is equal to 5,000 and y2 is equal to 1,50,000. Now we are going to substitute all these values in the condition x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. And here x1 is 3 divided by y1 is 5,000 is equal to A by 1,50,000. Now we can write it as is equal to 3 by 5,000. And here we need the value of A. So bring 1,50,000 to the other side. It becomes multiplication of 1,50,000. Here already 5,000 is there. So now cancelling 3 zeros in the numerator as well as in the denominator. And here 150 and here 5. So when we cancel 150 by 5, we get here in the denominator it is 1 time and in the numerator it is 30. 3 5s are 15 and here the remaining 0 is there. So 30. So 3 into 30 which is 90. A is equal to 90 months. Therefore, he can save rupees 1,50,000 in 90 months, which can be also written in years as 7.5 years. Fifth problem. If the cost of 6 cans of juice is rupees 210, then what will be the cost of 4 cans of juice? We are given to understand that the cost of 6 cans of juice is rupees 210. The question before us is, what will be the cost of 4 cans of juice? Here, definitely the cost of 4 cans of juice will be less than 6 cans of juice. Students, when one entity decreases, the other entity also decreases. This also falls under direct proportion. Now students, form a tabular column. Here number of cans of juice and cost in rupees or two quantities which are to be compared, and fill the values which are in the question. And here number of cans increases, cost also increases. So therefore they are in direct proportion. In the direct proportion, we take x1 divided by y1 is equal to x2 divided by y2. And here x1 is equal to 6 cans and y1 is equal to 210 rupees. 6 cans, the cost of 6 cans is 210, and x2 is equal to 4 cans and y2 is equal to a, which is unknown, the cost of 4 cans. So now substituting all the values in this, we get 6 divided by 210 is equal to x2 4 divided by a. Now by cross multiplication we get 6a is equal to 4 into 210. Now a is equal to 400 into 210 divided by the whole divided by 6. So here it is multiplication with this is in product with a. So when it crosses the equal to sign, it goes to the other side. It becomes 1 by 6. So now cancelling 210 and 6 by using third table. Here it is 2 times. Here it is 70 times. Again, when we cancel 2 and 4 by using 2 table, here it is 1 time and here in the numerator it is 2 times. So 2 into 70, that is a is equal to 140. Therefore, the cost of 4 cans of juice is equal to 140 rupees. Examples of inverse proportion. Speed and travel time. Speed and travel time are inversely proportional because the faster we go, the shorter the time. As speed goes up, travel time goes down, and as speed goes down, travel time goes up. Light and distance. The further away we are from a light, the less bright it is. As distance increases, brightness decreases, and as distance goes down, brightness goes up. Pressure and volume. As pressure increases, the volume of the container decreases. As pressure decreases, the volume of the container increases. Students, listen carefully. The following situations are the examples of inverse proportion. the number of men required and number of days they take to do the work. Electric current flowing in a circuit and its resistance. The frequency of vibration in a wire and its length. Price of each book and number of books of that can be purchased for fixed amount. Number of pages read and number of pages left over in a book. Now example 4.5. 60 workers can spin a bale of cotton in 7 days. Spin, it means draw out or twist. In how many days will 42 workers spin it? So here in this problem, if 60 workers can spin cotton in 7 days, what will be the number of days taken for 42 workers? For 60 workers and then 42 workers. And to do the same task is the question before us. So this problem falls under inverse proportion. As the number of workers decrease from 60 to 42 leads to the increase in number of days. Isn't it? Yes. Write down, let A be the number of days. So let A be the required number of days. So here we need to find the value of A. That is the number of days. And the decrease in number of workers leads to the increase in number of days. Therefore, both are in inverse proportion. So we know that for inverse proportion, the condition is x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. So now students, form a tabular column and write down the quantities which are to be compared. Here number of workers and number of days are two quantities. So number of workers, 60 workers in first case, 60 workers can spin a bale of cotton in 7 days. Okay. Then how many days will 42 workers spin it? So here we can easily understand that the number of workers. So the number of workers decreases. Definitely the number of days will be more. Okay. So this situation falls under inverse proportion. For inverse proportion, we have the condition x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. We know that x1 is equal to 60, x2 is equal to 42, y1 is equal to 7 and y2 is equal to a. Now substituting all the values in this condition, we get 60 into 7 is equal to, what is the value of x2? 42 into y2 is a. So now we have to find the value of a. So keep a one side and bring 42 to the other side. So when it crosses the equal to sign, it goes to the denominator. So 60 into 7, the whole divided by 42. Now cancelling 42 and 7, we get 1 and 6 times. 6 sevens are 42. And again when we cancel 6 and 60, here it is 1 time and in the numerator it is 10 times. So the value of A is equal to 10. Therefore, in 10 days, 42 workers can spin a bale of cotton. Now students, let us see example 4.6 problem. The cost of one box of tomato is rupees 200. Vaindan had money to buy 13 boxes. If the cost of the boxes increased to rupees 260. Then how many boxes will he buy with the same amount? See, the cost of one box of tomato is rupees 200 in the first case. Venan had money to buy 13 boxes. If the cost of one box increased from 200 to 260, then how many boxes will Wayne then be able to buy for the same amount, which is our question. So this is again an inverse proportion problem. What is an inverse proportion? Inverse proportion occurs when one value increases and the other value decreases. Here the cost of box increases, the number of boxes decreases. So it falls under the inverse proportion condition problem. So write down the cost of one box is rupees 200. Increased cost of one box is 260. Let A be the number of boxes brought by Wayne then. So here we need to find the value of A, which is the number of boxes bought by Wayne then. As cost of boxes increases, the number of boxes decreases. Now students, form a tabular column and write down the quantities which are to be compared. Here number of boxes and cost in rupees are two quantities which are to be compared. And in the first case 13 boxes, number of boxes is 13 and the cost of one box of tomato is rupees 200, and then the cost of boxes increased from 200 to 260. Then what will be the number of boxes he buy with the same amount, which is A. So which is unknown value, we have to find this value. So by using the inverse proportion condition. So students, for inverse proportion, the condition is x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. Here we know that x1 is equal to 13, x2 is equal to A, which is unknown value, we have to find it. y1 is equal to 200 and y2 is equal to 260. Now substituting all the values in this condition we get. So x1 is 13 into y1 200 is equal to A into y2. The value of y2 is 260. Now we need the value of A. So keep A in one side and bring the 260 to the other side. We get 13 into 200, the whole divided by 260. Now cancelling 0, 0. And here by using second table, 2 table, here in the denominator it is 13 times and in the numerator it is 10 times. Now cancelling 13 and 13. Remaining we get A as 10. So therefore he can buy 10 boxes for the same amount. 6 pumps are required to fill a watered sump in 1.5 minutes. What will be the time taken to fill the sump if one pump is switched off? So here 6 pumps take 1.5 hours to fill a sump. If one pump is switched off, that is, if 5 pumps only works, then what will be the time taken to fill the sump, which is our question. So now fill the tabular column. Here these two quantities, time taken and number of pumps, are to be compared. Now for 1.5 hours, so 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes and already 30 minutes is there. So 60 plus 30 is 90 minutes. So we can write 1 hour 30 minutes as 90 minutes. So number of pumps are required to fill a water sump in 1.5 minutes is 6 pumps. And then if one pump is switched off, that is 6 minus 1, which is 5. So what will be the time taken to fill the sump if one pump is switched off? So here we need to find the value of A, that is time taken. So from this we can easily understand that it is again an inverse problem. So what is inverse problem? What is inverse proportion? Inverse proportion occurs when one value increases, the other value decreases. Once again I'll tell you, students, see what is inverse proportion? When one value increases, the other value decreases. Write down, let A be the required time taken. As the number of pumps decreases, the time taken to fill the sump will be more. So they are in inverse proportion. Now students, for inverse proportion, we know that the condition is x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. And here we know that x1 is equal to 90 minutes and x2 is equal to A, which is the unknown value, the time taken to fill the sump. And y1 is equal to 6 pumps and y2 is equal to 5 pumps. Now substituting all the values in this condition, we get 90 into, what is the value of y1? Which is 6. If there is no sign between two numbers, it is considered as multiplication. And here equal to x2 is A into y2 is 5. Now A into 5 is equal to 90 into 6. Now we have to find the value of A. So A is equal to 90 into 6. Here this 5, when it crosses the equal to sign, it comes to the denominator as 5. That is, multiplication of 5 becomes 1 by 5, division of 5. And here A is equal to, now cancelling 90 and 5, we get, this is 18 times. Here in the denominator it is 1 times. So 18 into 6 divided by 1. Now 18 into 6 is 108 minutes. So A is equal to 108 minutes. Now students, A, the time taken to fill the sump is 108 minutes, which is in minutes. So now we can convert this into hours by using 1 minute is equal to 1 by 60 hours. That is, A is equal to 108 by 60 hours. Students, let us divide 108 by 60. That is 108 divided by 60. Here 1 times 160s are 60. Minus 108 minus 60 is 48. Now the quotient 1 represents R and here the remainder 48 represents minutes. So we can write 108 by 60 hours as 1 hour 48 minutes. Therefore, time taken in minutes is 1 hour 48 minutes. Problem: a farmer has enough food for 144 ducks for 28 days. If he sells 32 ducks, how long will the food last? So here in this problem, a farmer has food for 144 ducks for 28 days. Okay. If he sells 32 ducks from 144 ducks, that is, now he has 144 minus 32, which is 112 ducks. Now the question is, for 112 ducks, how many days the food will last? Okay. So again, this is an inverse problem. So, when one value increases, the other value decreases. Okay. So, solution. First, form a tabular column and write down the quantities which are to be compared. Here, the two quantities are number of days and number of ducks, which is X and Y. And first, number of days for 28 days. Number of ducks, 144 ducks. And number of ducks, 144 minus, he says 32 ducks. So now it becomes 112 ducks. Number of ducks is 112. So now we have to find the value of A, that is the number of days. Okay. So here let us take the values of X as X1, X2 and the values of Y as Y1 and Y2. Let A be the required number of days. As the number of ducks decreases from 144 to 112, the food will last for more days. Okay, they are in inverse proportion. Students, for inverse proportion, the condition is x1, y1 is equal to x2, y2. So here the value of x1 is equal to 28, y1 is 144 and x2 is A, which is we have to find, which is unknown value, and y2 is equal to 112. Now, substituting all the values in this condition, we get x1 is equal to 28 into y1, 144. is equal to x2. The value of x2 is A into y2 is 112. Now we can write it as A into 112 is equal to 28 into 144. Now we have to find the value of A. So A is equal to 28 into 144. Here this 112, when it crosses the equal to sign, it becomes 1 by 112. So now cancelling 144 and 112 by using two table. Here it is 72 and here in the denominator it is 56. Now cancelling 28 and 56 by using seventh table. In the numerator it is 4 times and in the denominator it is 8 times. So that is 8 sevens are 56. Now again when we cancel 4 and 8, here it is 2 times. Now 72 divided by 2. So when we divide 72 by 2, we get 336. That is A is equal to 36. So the value of A is equal to 36. Therefore, the food lasts for 36 days.